Welcome everybody to What's 3D Printing, your most favorite stream at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on any YouTube out there. I change it every time.
That's pretty awesome.
I change it every time. So that was our new intro. What did you think? Was that like amazing?
That was pretty fancy. Was that off Fiverr?
No, it was off of just some free template site, and then I had to go in and I had to design the logo, and then went in and changed it. So yeah,
it was better than $5, right? Free.
It was free. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is a low budget show. Let's do it one more time in case everybody missed it.
Sure.
That's it. Now all we need is like some sponsorship, and then we've really got it. We've made it big.
We're ready to sell out.
Oh, I've been ready to sell out.
If ANET wants to sponsor us and say we'll give you money and nothing but ANET printers, I will print nothing but ANET from now on.
Coca-Cola has extra money right now, being that they're not advertising on Facebook.
Not that we're sponsored, but
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Mitch 3D was first today. We got Alan Osborne in here, 3D Medic Vince, Clint, Sean Butler, Glenn Hook, the serial killer, Sergio H-Track A to Z, Michael Cassell, Clint. Oh, I already said Clint. Clint got 2 hollers. Tim Wood is here. Uncle Ron is here. Tom the 3D Printing Llama is here. Bob Carnes is here. And if anybody comes in after Robert Reynolds, they don't get a shout out. I usually say that's it, and then somebody else will drop in like Bennett just popped in right after and doesn't get a shout out. I'm not shouting out to Bennett because I said I wasn't going to.
This is a non-shout out to Bennett.
Mic trouble.
I'm having mic trouble.
Yeah. That's what
is it because I'm being too loud? Maybe. How's the audio level?
I mean, sounds okay to me, but you sound a little over. It sounds like you're redlining a little bit. Is it feeding from the right mic this time?
Let's check that.
I'm gonna take it easy, and then even as I'm saying it, I know it's a lie. I'm gonna open it up and see if I did anything wrong.
There's stuff apart. Yeah, it looks like I'm picking up off the right one. So I will turn my gain down. And I wonder if it's because we have 2 mics today, if it's picking me up on both of them. So I did turn the gain down a little bit. You guys let me know if that works better.
We're getting the double Glenn experience.
Oh dear.
Should I sing to test it?
No.
Xander says no.
Yeah, the peanut gallery chiming in. Oh,
Xander isn't getting an opinion anymore since he doesn't do these anymore.
That's right.
That is true.
Ever since he became the ultra silent partner.
Your beard fell off.
It's about time somebody noticed. It's actually a little bit scruffy right now because I haven't shaved again in a week. But yeah, I couldn't take it any longer. It was really, really annoying me. Bob Carnes wants to know if that's Mrs. Fun King. It better be, because if I have another lady here wearing a Fun King shirt, my wife would have my. Yeah. So yes, that is my wife. That is my wife, Gricela. Double Glenn with 4 N. So how was my week, you ask? Well, I worked on the FK1 all week long. There is a tremendous amount of configuration, calibration, trying to think of another fancy C word, but
Asian song.
Dialing it in, software tweaking, learning. It's been quite a week. Every time I think I'm there, I'm not. But so I'm proud of myself for this one. But I was absolutely terrified to send it on a print because I didn't want it to run the nozzle into the bed. I think I can share with you guys my we rebooted. I'm going to share with you guys my bed height map.
I don't think I saw this.
So that, let's do some screen sharing. So that is my bed height map. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Duet, shame on you. No, that's not really
Not a sponsor. Oh wait, they are a sponsor for you.
They are a sponsor. So and I'll get into the whole details of it. Uncle Ron is oh my gosh. I wish I could share that
ouch.
picture. Woo.
What's that?
Sorry.
So this is the map after I send the G32 and have it level the carriage 3 times, and then it does a bed probe with, what is it, 65 points. So you look at that and you think, wow, I'm printing on Mount Everest. But yeah, Michael Gricela, you're printing on a globe. All right, so now I don't know if you guys will be able to see the details on this, but this is my home corner right here. And you see my Z is at 0.012. Okay, so if we go to the high spot, which is right here, it's 0.7. That thing looks like it's 40 millimeters or something off, but it's off by 3/4 of a millimeter. So it's like nothing. And if I sight down the bed, I can actually see a bow right there in the bed. I've tested it with straight edges and feeler gauges and crazy amounts of stuff. I have to cough, and I don't have a mute button. So this scared me at first, but it'll be okay. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. So when I pulled that, I didn't want to send a print job to it because I was afraid that the nozzle was going to dive into the bed. And typically, okay, so the nozzle dives into the bed. Well, if it does it on this, that's $150 PEI seat in the toilet. So I was really scared. So what I did was I went to the garage and I cut a piece of 1/4 inch thick aluminum, and I took a Post-it note. Oh, here, took a Post-it note and I stuck it to the aluminum like this, so it was easier to hold. And I put that, you guys can't see the table. I homed the Z and I put that under the BL Touch, also a sponsor. And so it technically homed 1/4 inch above the bed. And then I sent a print job that was nothing more than a bunch of squares all over the bed. And every time it would get to a new square, I would slide this block back under the nozzle to make sure that it wasn't touching. And once I was sure that nozzle wasn't going to touch it anywhere, then I was more confident in sending a print job. Michael Gricela says to flip the bed over and see if it's any better. It would actually be worse because it wouldn't print well on the heater. Yeah, that's
not bad. 5 out of 7 kind of joke.
The heater stuck to the bottom side of it because I did consider that, but I don't know if that piece of aluminum was just bent when I got it and I never noticed it because I don't really have the tools to check it, or I didn't at the time, or if from bolting it down, if it screwed, if it put tension on it, and then from sitting like that now for a couple of years, it just kind of has stayed that way. But again, we're only talking like 0.7 millimeter, which I realize in 3D printing is a tremendous amount. It's 3 layers, but
we're talking about a bed that's big enough to print like 1,001 sides benchy or 1,001% benchy.
Right, and so then the compensation, the bed level compensation by using that map lifts and lowers the nozzle like it's supposed to, and it's just It's magical. It's magical to watch. So,
Scientific and magical.
but the tramming, is that the right word? Tramming? The leveling of the carriage, when it's well out in one corner and it levels up, it's amazing. And I am working on getting a video so that you guys can watch that happen. But
sounds like a tram good time.
it is a tram good time. So
can I just say,
sure.
it is ridiculous the fact that I pulled apart the extruder. It looks like it might have been off a little bit, but I fed the filament through with the door open, right? Like the one that acts as the tension bearing, whatever, the spring loaded. I don't really call it because it's double geared, but you know what I'm talking about?
The idler.
Yeah, which isn't really an idler anymore because it's geared. So
yeah, technically it does drive. It's the other half of the drive.
So I only had one half of the drive engaged. There's nothing putting pressure on the other side, and it still grabbed the filament, pulled it through, and pushed it out the hot end.
Wow.
With just that one Bontac gear making contact with it, and I guess enough tension of the way the filament gets pushed as it goes through.
Yeah, because of the short run between the top and the bottom.
Yep. Color me impressed.
Bennett said, I really hope it's not that the aluminum isn't flat. I just recommended it to someone. No, these panels, when they mill them, are milled to like 1/1000th of an inch flat. But the problem is it was FedEx that brought it here, and let me tell you, the box was not in good shape when it got here. So they might have like driven over it.
Would moving it around affect it, like taking it to the shows and
Nah,
stuff
that
like
thing
that?
is so solid. Yeah. And then with the crate being in the crate, nah.
Plus, we can't even look at that because that would make it Glenn's fault, and nothing's ever Glenn's fault.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's my fault. I'm sure that I, just from bolting it down, I probably put tension in it. And so.
What Glenn fails to say is that he was frustrated one night, and he's got superhuman strength, so he just picked it up and threw it across the...
yeah.
Well, I did try the superhuman strength to kind of push it down and flex it back the other way, but all that does is push the brackets down because there's a little bit of play in the brackets for adjustability, and it just pushed it. It's like, oh.
What's wrong with the Prusa? So the Prusa has been exhibiting what's called in the community issue 602, which is inconsistent extrusion lines. So the parts come out nice and strong, and at most angles they look great, but if you tilt them sort of with the right light, you can see that the extrusion isn't perfectly 0.4 millimeters all the time. So community is torn up as to whether or not it's an issue with the hardware, the firmware, assembly problem. So I'm checking the assembly issues that they've listed as potentially contributing first.
Well, okay, so then out of curiosity, the next question would be, does anybody who bought one pre-assembled have this issue?
They have the issue even with the ones in their print farm.
So then, I mean, how do you determine, or how do you lean on it being an assembly issue? I mean, you would think that if it was an assembly issue, Prusa themselves would have figured out a tool or something to. I mean, they check everything when they cut the extrusions. They run them through a machine that makes sure that they're within tolerance. And I mean, they check everything.
Well, I will say that it looked like, and I can't imagine it would have been off enough in terms of the way the extruder gears were lined up for it to create any problems. But there was like a slight, maybe not perfectly centered. Now it is perfectly center. So I'm reprinting it. We'll see if it changed anything.
Yeah, I think I centered mine by taking I think I put an Allen key down through there. Or maybe it was a piece of coat hanger. I don't know. I put some piece down through there to make sure that everything was in alignment.
Don't get me wrong. Out of the box, it's delivering the best prints out of any of my printers. I was just surprised that I've gotten my CR10s that I've done all the overhauling on. The prints are pretty indistinguishable. Indistinguishable between the two. So maybe I'm just good at 3D printing.
Could be. Yeah, my Prusa is probably the one printer that I spend the most time getting dialed in. Like, change the nozzle or change the hot end or make any changes. Then I spend like the next 2 days doing calibration blocks and all of that to make sure that everything is right. Because I mean, everything that's printed on this printer came off of that, and it's all got a tolerance of 0.1 millimeter. So it's important to be dialed in.
Well, my goal with this is to have a printer that just works like 99% of the time, and everybody said that. Even talking to Chris is like, I've seen better prints off of other printers, but the Prusa just seems to work. You hit the button, you walk away, and I need that because I've had too many projects that have come down to the wire because I'm like, oh yeah, all of my printers decided this is the weekend to like catch on fire. Amazing. Fire started on one of them, and it just spread like fire.
The fire usually does spread like fire.
But not wildfire.
So I had a very successful print finally. This was the third or fourth time I printed this thing. I sliced it in the new slicer Prusa edition. No, Prusa slicer. I finally moved to Prusa slicer, which is based on slicer.
That's what it says. Prusa slicer based on Slick 3R.
Don't start with me. Hey, remember the last guy that used to say that? He's not here anymore. No, so like I'd been having problems with blobbing. The PETG would be like dropping big blobs and stuff, and this one had zero blobbing. And the difference was I realized that I don't have a hardened nozzle on there anymore. So I had to dial my temperatures way down. Like I ended up dropping like 18 degrees. I was printing at 260 before, and now I'm at 252. So, but I have to install that.
I've been printing all my PETG on the CR10s at like 230 to 240.
What brand?
Some of it was IC3D. Some of it was Amazon. Some of it was Strong Hero. And a bunch of it was the Econofill from filaments.ca.
Yeah, because I couldn't get the IC3D to lay down good until I got it up around the 260 mark. But again, that was with a hardened steel nozzle.
Yeah, so you're dealing with the temperature difference there.
Yeah, so now I got a nozzle X sitting in my cart at Printed Solid. I just got to pull the trigger.
I just got my credit card completely paid off, so we won't be pulling the trigger on anything for a while.
Good for you.
It's been a long road.
We switch over to this camera now. We'll be just a little tiny up in the corner.
So we paid off our credit card 3 weeks ago completely down to zero. And the next day we brought Mika into the Fed and it cost us $1,400. But she's still here, which is more than we thought.
Right. Well, that's important.
Yeah.
Are you printing something?
Well, right now I'm just homing it, but yeah, I'm gonna print a very special model called a Benchy. Oh, speaking of Benchy,
you start the 1001 Benchy. You just heard it from here. You heard it here first.
Is
that the bottom of a 1001% Benchy?
That is the bottom footprint of a 1001% Benchy.
I can see a lot more of you through it than I would expect.
Well, because I was having adhesion issues. So I think the biggest problem is the fact that this PEI sheet has been open to the elements now for a couple of years.
Oh, and I might need a little scruff and a little clean.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take some 4-aught steel wool to it. But I rubbed it down with a magic eraser today. I read online last night that somebody used a magic eraser and it helped. So
it makes sense because it's the same process. A magic eraser is basically just an ultra-fine abrasive, right?
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, so the bottom of a Benchy is only like here. So it's going to have, like, the nose is going to come. The thing will be about that big.
I imagined it bigger, though, because I'm looking at this huge bed.
Again, I'm limited because of height.
Right, I understand.
So, unless I lay down the money. Chris,
you want to see a cool attention to detail thing?
What's that?
You want to see a cool attention to detail thing? This is my keyboard. Watch what happens when I plug it in. See the little light show?
That's cool.
There's absolutely no useful purpose.
Well, just letting you know it's booting up.
Yep.
DB3D Dan is here. Chris Lane says, still thinking about that Stacker F1 coming to Kickstarter and why it's $3,000. I don't think I've seen that yet. I'm going to have to check that out. All right, let's see now. I'll go over here to Yobs. And
Did you see the video of the guy that printed the Reddit logo and he did stop motion with it? So he set up a camera that rotates around his bed as he's printing. So you get that nice like aspect changing as the model comes up. And then he basically had to do a time-lapse recording after the fact where he cranked the bed up to like 110 degrees and it was PLA, so it just slowly melted down into the bed into a puddle.
oh my gosh,
It's fantastic.
what a mess. All right, let's see. I gotta check my bed, my nozzle height.
Tim said Chris prints his benchies during the stream. How long is it going to take?
How long is this? Yeah, no. This is a normal benchie that I'm gonna print. I did re-slice that because that the bottom of that is the actual slice. I just went in and deleted a bunch of the G code out of there, so it only did the first millimeter, but which obviously didn't make it to. But by using a 0.8 nozzle with a 0.6 layer height, or maybe it was a 0.4 layer height, and I can't remember, and 10% infill, I got it down to like just under 7 days. So
That's insane.
Well, that means you could kick it off in the. Actually, you should try and time it so you can kick it off in the stream and then finish it off on the stream.
yeah,
Imagine trying to narrow it down to starting and stopping in within a 2-hour window.
yeah, I have to. I got to get a battery backup to run this thing just in case. I can't.
And how many kilograms of material is that?
I can't remember. It was like two rolls.
So, you need one of the 5. You should see if IC3D will sponsor it. Get a 2.2 kilogram roll.
Yeah. Well, I have other friends too. I mean, not that I have anything against IC3D, but I mean.
Sorry.
Yes, Uncle Ron.
What was I doing?
No.
Percent that.
Oh, that feels pretty good. I like that. All right. No promises that this is going to work.
That's good.
I warned you guys last week, and everybody was like, "Oh, you got to print live. You got to print live." And although I have been printing a little bit, actually, I didn't start printing until yesterday. I hadn't printed on it until last night. So, but
You want to switch the camera over so that
it's about a 5-minute procedure. The first time you power it up, Info Mario Ruse. I'm sure I butchered that. Welcome from Spain. But the first time that you power it up and run through the whole bed leveling, it is about a 5-minute procedure. There's some filament. I got to do a purge strip on this thing. But you only have to go through all the bed leveling once per time that you turn it on. Because obviously when you turn it off, motor's dark, and then that's going to throw it out of whack. So I run the G32, which levels or trams the printer, and then I do a G29 that does the math with the 90 whatever points or 60 whatever point. I don't know how many points it is. And it's the most points. The greatest. But
I'm glad this isn't pointless.
but it's only about a 5-minute procedure. So, and if you just leave the printer on all the time, which I will once I change out that horrifically noisy power supply fan.
is that what was beeping yesterday?
Oh no, that was the Prusa.
Oh,
If you load the wrong firmware onto your Prusa,
Your mic is cutting out. I think you said if you load the wrong firmware onto your Prusa.
yeah, if you load the wrong firmware onto the Prusa, a couple things could happen. One, some squares show up on the screen and nothing else. Or two, it beeps this horrifically high-pitched squeal,
Really annoying.
and you can't do anything about it until you reflash it. But I don't make mistakes, so.
Uncle Ron wants to
Well, I mean, just unplug the screen at that point because the speaker's on the screen.
Yeah, but it's not easy to get to the screen.
Yours doesn't just pop off? Oh, wait, no, mine doesn't just pop off either. The front cover does.
No.
Is everybody's like that where the front cover is kind of just loose on it?
I don't know. It's been a while since I put it together. I don't remember, but I don't think the cover's loose. No, my cover's not loose. Oh, layer 2. Why is it printing the skirt on the second layer? I hope it's not going to print the skirt all the way up.
I do not think the print quality is improved after.
Yeah, I know that now, Shane. I didn't realize that I was flashing the wrong one. I flashed in the one for the 2.5S first, and that just blanked the screen out except for some squares. And I didn't realize I never upgraded to the S, which those parts are now on order. Then I flashed in the one for the 2.5, but for the older board, and then that was the one that pierced my eardrums. It's been a long time since I flashed that thing, and it's like I flashed it through Octoprint the first time, and I thought that's what screwed it up, but it wasn't. And Uncle Ron, yeah, I'm printing in that same corner. That's just my home corner. That's why I picked that spot.
Least amount of movement.
What's that?
Least amount of movement distance once you start.
Yeah, I don't. I just let it pick that spot. So, Tony Ryan, it's printing. Look, it's right there. But for some reason, it's printing the skirt on every layer, and I set it for like 10 times around so that I could get a good purge on it. So I don't.
Maybe you did 10 layers instead of 10. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's going around a whole bunch of times.
I think 3D Medic Vint said that Prusa uses 2 skirt layers by default. So maybe that's something that's adjustable and you accidentally changed the wrong thing.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I know that there's and I forget what it's called, but I know there's a way to print the skirt all the way up. But
sounds like a blob shield or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. But for all you naysayers, there she is printing again. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to go. Well, I mean, this whole thing's been a lot of work, but to go from the 2-lead screw to the 4-lead screw, because like you can't just like punch into Google, how do I do it? And there's all like you got to kind of piecemeal everything together. And no offense to the guys over at Duet 3D, but they're way smarter than me. Notice I said no offense before I say that. But like when they write the how-to articles, it's like, well, you just do it because that's the way it is. And then you're like, but why? Like I want to know more. They're like, oh, put the the S on there.
Right, they're speaking to you like you're equally smart.
Well, like right. Why? Well, what S parameter? What do I put in the S parameter? So, but yeah, it's using Mitch. It's actually it levels out the carriage automatically. It runs 3 checks. It goes around levels, goes around levels, goes around levels. I'm experimenting to see if it's more accurate if I home in between or not, and so far it doesn't seem to make a difference. But and then it runs the bed calibration or the bed mapping, and then it uses active compensation.
Looks like something happened there.
Is there like a piece hanging off?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have my retraction settings right for sure. Like it keeps leaving little tails.
Yeah, it's not right.
Oh, there's just a blob laying over there. So far, it's okay.
But it's picked up the blob and moved it a couple times.
It likes the blob. Blobs are its friend.
Okay.
Wait till they find out this is all just camera trickery and you're actually printing this on the AM8.
This morning
It's over on that
I
corner now.
printed a new electronics cover. Oh, that wasn't good. Still
What are you
fighting bed
doing?
adhesion. Well, I got to get it out of the way now so it doesn't pick up the skirt. I'm just going to leave it be. It is what it is. It's moving the skirt around. The blob is in the print now.
Oh yeah.
Ruined.
So what causes that?
Just settings. Like it's either pushing too much filament or it's a really nice skirt.
It's very pretty.
But yeah, so when I changed out the power supply on the AM8, I designed a bottom cover for over the ouchie parts. And rule number one, never touch it. Yeah, I know. And I'm really bad about it too. I'll get in there and clip it and stuff. But
Blob is in the print.
You're supposed to set it and forget it.
But so yeah, I printed this cover. Well, that printer sits right next to the garbage can back there, and I was at my desk one day and I chucked a partially empty bottle of water over to the garbage can and hit the printer, and it broke that box. So I made some design changes to it because it needed it anyway, and I printed a new one today, which turned out spectacular, except for I cracked it, put it together.
And then we could hear it crack.
Yeah, like we
We're
were sitting
sitting
here and
there.
all of a sudden it goes, dink. I'm like, what was that? Yeah, I definitely have bed adhesion issues. And I don't know if it's just because it's glossy PEI, but again, I'm going to take some 4/0 steel wool to it and make it not glossy PEI.
What do you usually use when you take it to the shows and print up the Makeys and stuff?
This.
It is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because those seem to turn out okay.
But that has a very small footprint and it's only in one spot and it's not, you know.
Nice.
So, and again, I know that thing, like I wiped it. I don't know if I saved the cloth, but I wiped it with, I wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol and it was disgustingly dirty. But you figure it had sat in a crate in the garage for 6 months. So, which I meant to ask you, could you make a fitted sheet?
For this?
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
a shower cap, but to fit over the bed so that when it's sitting,
Yeah.
I could have just a cloth.
Yeah, I think like a shower cap. Yeah, I probably just
Yeah,
need an elastic.
Yeah, just
go around
something
it
with it doesn't have to be like perfectly form fitted. It's just to
Okay.
keep the dust off the bed.
Yeah.
You need to make a bed cleaning Zamboni. Oh, that would be awesome.
I'm just printing calicats. I made some changes to the way the extruder gears were aligned on the Prusa. I'm printing it. I also changed some Cura Slicer settings for my CR10, so I'm also printing one over there too.
You're only supposed to print benchies.
So is Mitch saying that I sound like a man or that James sounds like a woman?
Oh, I sound like a woman, 150%.
I'm
It is what it
How to
is.
take that?
I used to work at a call center that served Time Warner New York customers. And my professional voice on the phone sounds even more feminine. And I would have guys that were hitting on me on the phone thinking I was a woman. And I'd be like, my name's James. And they'd say, oh, well, it's nice to meet you, Miss James. I'm like, there's always a, do I tell them? And I usually like, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to avoid a bunch of embarrassment on both sides, you know?
That's pretty funny.
Dude looks like a lady.
Oh, I can't sing that. Well, I mean, I can't sing, but so to be fair, I hit on James over the phone.
Who said that?
I hit on James over the internet.
You hit on me over the internet?
James, what are you wearing right now? Khaki.
The Canadian Jake.
I guess I could have at least like made this thing a little bit bigger, but it's
Yeah.
estimating an hour and 45 minutes.
Well,
for
when it
print,
printed
which-
this, I thought that's what you did.
no,
was
that
that
would
you
be a
made it
good.
sli-
Like
that would-
it's like
yeah.
kind of tubby.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to like
It's like-
manipulate it and stretch it. And
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that designed this boat didn't really know what he was doing.
I'm far beyond being embarrassed by that story. Hence the reason I repeated it. So I said, here I am repeating. What was it? Oh, Dan said, and here's James repeating his embarrassing side of the story.
Well, he actually said embracement.
Ah, there you go.
Which is an entirely different story.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. So we need to see a full bed benchy. Well, that's coming, Mitch.
Yeah.
That's
I'll put it down there.
1,001% is oh, I gotta switch
Yeah,
cameras back.
Yes.
1,001%. This is like a green screen trick because you can see through it.
Right.
But
The whole benchy's actually there.
it takes 480.5 millimeters to do 1,001%. And technically I only have 475, but I can push it to 490, but it puts it in the danger zone where if the carriage runs down to that end, the Y motor will hit the frame. So
You need to make sure that there's no NG code when you slice that, so it doesn't do anything after it's done.
yeah. Well, the NG code that I use actually it looks at the calculated or the current height versus its max height, and it won't allow it to, like, it'll only lift if you're not.
Okay, it only does it if it knows it's got enough to finish it.
Yeah, it won't exceed it.
I think you need to print something smaller to max height, something quicker in days mode, perhaps, just to make sure.
Yeah, take it all the way up in a base mode.
Just use a calibration cube and then extend it all the way up.
Well, the Duet web interface has an option. I probably can do it through the panel too, but like when you load the job, you can simulate the print. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So that's how I was going to check it to make sure it wasn't running the nozzle. Well, it doesn't. It simulates it mathematically. And then like it kicks back and says, well, like this is what would have happened. And it's like, well, that doesn't do me any good. I want you to do the motions. Uncle Ron said I need to tweak the infill to start the print on one Sunday stream, and we get to watch it finish with you the following week. Well, I'm thinking maybe I'll just put a camera on it and I'll just run a live stream for the whole week that it's printing.
Build your view time up that way. You're good for a year.
I'll have like a 7-day stream.
Just remember that it's streaming, or make sure you don't have audio.
Make sure I don't have audio?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well,
Well, because we'd be talking around here.
I could put music in the background, like royalty-free music or whatever.
I don't know which surface finish I like better. The textured PEI sheet that gives the it makes everything look almost sparkly when you take it off, or the
textured one?
PEI. What was that?
The textured one?
Yeah, the textured one makes it look like it's sparkly.
Yeah. I have both the textured and the smooth. I don't even know where my smooth one is. and I say that maybe I don't have a smooth one, and I just think I do.
I printed this on the textured one, and it peeled up on one edge, and I actually got a layer shift.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, I do have an extra textured one, and I have another one coming, but they were out of smooth ones.
I ordered one of each because I figured I didn't want to have to pay for shipping again later on.
Well, that's it. I was trying to, because if you order one, like if you order a nozzle, it's like $12 shipping to the U.S. If you order a whole printer, it's like $12 shipping to the U.S.
It cost me $70 shipping to Canada, and then cost me an additional $70 in customs. So I actually could have gotten it cheaper. There's a company that imports them here, but they didn't know when they were going to get more at this point. So I do not think that. So everything's under shadow right now, so it's really hard for me to gauge whether or not it's fixed anything. But I think I'm seeing inconsistencies still.
Mitch said he had a half roll of protopasta that got really brittle, got moisture since Earth last year.
You gotta boil your protopasta before consuming it.
Yeah, I've had a food dehydrator in my Amazon cart for like 2.5 years, and I just haven't done it.
I just use the oven.
And I just apparently discovered a hole in my lip.
You have a drinking problem?
I do have a drinking problem. Need a fill dry. Yeah. No, I know it doesn't, Mitch. I mean, at the point that it's already brittle and it's too late, but it uses a ton of power. Yeah, that's definitely a concern of mine, how much power it uses. This printer draws 18 amps when it's under full load.
Is that why our power bill is so high this month?
No, because it hasn't really run that much. I didn't start heating it up until last night.
So the power bill will be high next month.
Yeah.
Our hydro company sends us a report every other month to show you like how you're doing compared to last year. And with me printing the PPE gear, it's like your usage consumption over the same period last year has increased by 100%.
Wow.
You can see the spike in our electricity when I started running them nonstop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mitch says the power bill is Xander's fault.
The power bill is Xander's fault. Oh, he's not up here.
No.
He's always on that computer.
Better to blame the person that's not there to defend themselves.
We'll let him have a late gaming night, and he'll stay up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then he'll sleep till noon, and by noon 01, he's like, "Can I play on my computer?"
I was like that. My dad used to burst into my bedroom at like 2:30 in the morning, and he would say some pretty angry stuff, implying that I probably should get off the computer immediately.
Well, it's never going to amount to anything.
It's true. Never make a living out of it. There's somebody that posted on Reddit, and they were basically like, my son's thinking about dropping out of high school, or maybe it was like not going to college because he thinks he's going to make a living on the internet. He runs a channel that's got like, it was like 300,000 subscribers. How do I make him realize that there's no future in this stuff? And the top comment's like, do you want to tell her or should I?
Oh, wow.
At 300,000 subscribers, and with the likelihood that the person's only going to continue to increase in popularity, you're already pulling in nearly 6 figures.
The only lesson there that needs to be had is don't nuke your channel.
Don't what?
Don't nuke your channel.
It's pretty easy. Well, I'm not gonna say it's pretty easy to lose a channel, but lots of people have lost their channels and their Twitch accounts and stuff like that over the past couple of days.
Dr. Disrespect, and they haven't said why, but Twitch, he just signed a multi-million-dollar a year deal in March.
Yeah, and then they canned it. It's because he hasn't commented. I'm thinking that it's got to be something pretty bad.
Exactly. I mean, he did chime in finally. It was either last night or this morning, but he said that Twitch hasn't actually given him the reason, which at the point you're that big and Twitch cans you,
yeah,
you're gonna work your bestest to find out what the reason is. Mitch said from his experience, college made him have a negative net worth.
I believe it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's fancy. It's worth nothing.
Yeah, there's all sorts of experts coming out and saying you probably shouldn't be using TikTok because they're farming your data.
If you're concerned about using TikTok because they're farming your data, don't use the internet because everything is farming your data.
It's true. Your data is being farmed right now while we're having this conversation.
Absolutely. And we're not even getting any benefit from it.
Well, you got to click the show ad button during your stream at least once or twice.
Oh, where is that
I
button?
didn't.
No. The only way I would do that is like if I had to take a break to get something to drink or get rid of something I already drank, then I might do it. But otherwise, no way. It annoys the crap out of me when I'm watching a YouTube video and the ad breaks in the middle of it. I'm like, yep, done with you.
I like to put so many ad breaks that it's more ad breaks than video by the time I'm done.
Yeah, it's just all ad breaks. It's like your intro and your outro and then all ads in between.
Yeah. Hi, and welcome back to another print and play video commercial.
Glenn Hook said he bought a food dehydrator off of Newegg in 2018 and finally got around to trimming the trays to put the filament in. Google knows the molecular structure of your sister's best friend's boyfriend's mother.
Did you ever see this slight conspiracy theory? Because 23andMe is like, when you dig through it, is basically apparently owned by Google. And essentially there is a theory right now that because scientists are getting relatively close to the ability to allow somebody to live a natural life forever, like obviously car accidents and stuff like that could still happen, but basically you stop aging. And the process is going to require, if you're going to have an injection of earlier DNA from you, otherwise whatever age they do the treatment is the age you get at. They can't restore DNA without a pure sample. And when you donate or send your sample into 23andMe, they can hold on to it indefinitely. So can you imagine that you've done 23andMe and then 30 years from now they contact you and you're like, hey, we still have your DNA on file, and for $5,000 we'll give it back to you, and then you can get this medication and it'll bring you back to the way you were when you like when you were 20 or 30 or whenever you submitted it in terms of your physical age.
That's weird.
Scary.
Huh. Mitch said YouTube premium is the only thing I splurge on. I built a pie hole, and it blocks all the ads for me. I'm not saying you should block ads. We appreciate you watching our ads.
And you should continue to do so.
I should continue because I need that 6 cents a month that I get. What did I say? I was at like $7 a month?
I think that's what, we checked last week, right?
Yeah, I was at it last week or the week before. So the light that I have above the printer is flickering because it's plugged into the same socket. Mitch, that's not very nice.
Oh, she scared me.
Yeah, if you guys haven't looked into Pi-hole, and that's how it's spelled, P-I-H-O-L-E, Pi-hole, it's made to run on a Raspberry Pi. I actually run it on my Ubuntu box. But it's
just remember. Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
It's very effective for blocking ads.
Just remember that when you're watching our streams, it's important to shut your pie hole.
Yeah, shut off your pie hole while watching us.
Hey, it's Chris Riley.
Chris Riley in the house. You guys are printing things. I'm printing a Benchy.
I'm printing Calicats. I went to print a Benchy, and I got a message saying that the global amount of Benchies allowed to print in a day has been exceeded due to Chris Riley.
Yeah, Chris Riley prints them all. He prints all the Benchies. So that's 1,001% Benchy footprint, or at least part of it.
This is what Chris Riley dreams about.
Benchies?
I think that's incomplete is a nightmare for him, I'm positive.
Yeah, it just... In fact, that was printed on blue tape.
You know what? I don't mean to throw a wrench into this. I just realized, though, is the FK1 going to be able to handle the gaps that it has to clear as it's printing 1,001 size Benchy? All those windows are going to be like this big.
My thought was I'm going to take it into Rhino and measure out and see how big those gaps are, because I did consider that I may have to put supports in for it.
I have a Benchy and I have my caliper, so I'm just going to measure the distance right now, and then we'll just multiply it by 1,001%. The biggest gap is going to be the one in the front here, obviously. Well, actually, and then the inside, right? Like the roof The roof is going to be the
yeah,
biggest.
the going over the roof, but
I think the roof I'm less concerned about, though.
I don't think it'll have any problem spanning that.
Okay, so it's zeroed out. So this gives me 10 millimeters.
Sean Butler said, "Say Benji 3 times." Chris shows up. Hi,
So
Paul
the gap
Connor.
is 1 centimeter.
It's what?
1 centimeter. 10 millimeters.
So it'll be
It'll be 10 it'll be 100 millimeters.
yeah, which is
Well, here it's this much. There, it's that much.
yeah, it'll be all right.
It just sucks that that's towards the end of the print. That's day 5 or day 6.
I can mesh mixer. I can never say that. Mesh mixer the Benji and slice it and run some test prints so that I'm not throwing caution to the wind.
You could actually just make 2 towers with a 100 millimeter gap between them. You know what I mean? And then you could do that test print in an hour.
I should probably do a it broke loose. I should probably do a bridging test on this printer anyway.
And you can call the failing point a bridge too far.
Well, it's pretty.
It's a nice little robot.
It did real nice.
It seems like it's got no, I guess not. I was gonna say it seems like it's got a little elephant footing, but it doesn't. So
if it had elephant footing and it detached, I would be doubly impressed.
yeah, no, and looking at the bottom, it looks like it could use a little more squish. So
well, squish.
So we're going to do it again, but we're going to give it a little more baby stepping. Benji canoe.
So
Benji rowboat.
what made that happen?
What,
Just-
breaking free?
Yeah.
Well, because as it's laying the plastic, it's as it's laying that plastic down, sometimes it's pulling on it. You might get a little chunk sticking up like this just because the retraction isn't right, and then the nozzle catches that, or just decided that it had enough of sticking to the bed and it gave up. We didn't want to see a successful print today anyway. That's.
Don't worry, I'm doing 2 of them. I've got both of us covered.
What's that?
I'm doing 2 successful prints. I've got both of us covered.
Oh, that's nice.
Jinx.
Oh, look, they're both on fire.
Baby step in the hit dance from the 80s.
Other than that one hiccup I had with building the Mark III, I was really impressed by the documentation.
Apparently it failed when Chris showed up.
Failed when Chris turned up. It was intimidated by Chris Riley. It's like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
The printer wants to be sent to Chris Riley for final tuning. It knows what's best for it.
Well, if it knows what's best for it, it better start acting better, or it's going to find itself turned into a CNC machine.
I don't see any skirt yet.
I just peeled it off. It didn't. It like the beginning of it was actually laying in where the boat was going to be. So the skirt's down now. The first layer of skirt. You forgot to punch the Chris Riley cheat codes. It's what up, down, left, right.
Up, down, left, right, BA start. The Chris Dama code. I really want to go with the textured top for the NES case because it actually ends up looking like that textured surface ends up looking like the actual top of a Nintendo.
Oh, we'll just mute your mic off. Turn it off. There you go, and then you can go check on it. It's thundering, and we got a kid outside, so cheaper to have Chris Riley go dial the printer in than to ship the printer. That's probably true.
And plus, we don't want to risk damaging the FK1 sending it to Chris. It's okay if Chris gets damaged on the way to the FK1.
Yeah, the downside is I can never see up under the extruder. When I designed this extruder assembly, I wanted to put like an LED ring under there, or at least an LED, and then I realized that that's more wires, and I decided against it.
I often decide against anything that's extra work for me.
Well, I had yet another broken wire in the harness that goes between the extruder and the well, where it connects to the frame, I guess. So as you can see, it's kind of horseshoed right now, which seems to be working a lot better than the other way. Yeah,
I might have to eat my words. This print looks like it might be better. Damn it, Chris was right. Wait, are we allowed to say damn it on the channel?
No.
Oh, damn it. I mean, darn it.
Ron said it has to be Zach. I don't think Xander knows how to get outside.
No, they got him a laptop. Now he'll go wherever he's not going to get bugged.
Sean Butler said he just realized he hasn't turned his printer on in over a week. His printer's on in over a week.
Let's not panic. Chris still might not be right. The print's not finished. I can't get it under proper lighting.
They were still on the sprinklers.
In the sprinklers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I installed sprinklers on our trampoline so the kids can jump on the trampoline and be in the water. And they'll have them on. They'll be outside. It'll be pouring rain, and they'll still be under the sprinklers. It's like, thanks for wasting my money, kids.
Randall Lassini just joined, and he says it looks like, sort of looks like a Cobblebot. I don't know what a Cobblebot is, but
I do not know what a Cobblebot looks like either.
I bet it looks like an awful lot like the FK1.
It might.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, best up. Skirts broke free.
Oh, this feels like the same thing that happened last time.
Yeah, except for it's yuckier.
Oh yeah, that's not nearly as pretty as the last one.
Ugh.
Yeah, the closest I can tell is like it's close to the H bot, but Cobblebot was one of those terrible Kickstarter printers.
Yeah, there's only a couple of terrible ones. Luckily, I only back winners like the Obsidian.
Cobblebot was a rip-off Kickstarter done entirely by lawyers.
They keep saying they're pushing forward with the Obsidian, and they're like, okay, we've picked out our beta testers, and we've contacted them. One of the beta testers comes on, he's like, yeah, they've contacted me. It's been X number of months. I still don't have a printer.
Did they make the beta testers pay? Like,
it's an extra $100 for the privilege.
Yeah, you send us $100 and then we'll make you a beta tester. That's a great scam.
No, cash is fine. Cash is fine.
It's a great scam.
This has. I also like the fact that the Prusa gives you a readout to say how long is remaining in your print. It says I've got 20 minutes left. Which is interesting because I started the print on the CR10 after it, and the CR10 says it has 16 minutes left.
Well, I just bumped my speed factor up to 110%. Because why not?
If you're heading towards failure, you might as well hit the gas.
That's right. I want it to fail quicker.
And fail forward. That's the important thing. In IT, you should always fail forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys can't see my really cool spool holder that I built in an instant last night. I had two pieces similar to this that I wasn't using anymore because I changed the design. So I just bolted them to the top rail and put a piece of PVC pipe in between them on each side. So quick dirty, but I already have a printer.
I jumped a bunch. I jumped like I think almost 10 subscribers yesterday. And I'm trying to figure out why. Because usually when that happens, it's because somebody's like mentioned me in a video.
Yeah, or somewhere, YouTube or Facebook or Reddit or. I don't know if I told this story, but back a couple of weeks ago, something. Oh, somebody on Facebook had asked about a printer, a larger format printer that wasn't overly expensive and whatever. And so I like to troll a little bit. So I threw a link to the rendering, the trailer for this thing, and didn't say anything else. I just dropped it in there and moved on. And then somebody had chimed in and said, yeah, but that guy wants like $2,500 for that printer. And he's like telling me all about it. And so I said, well, actually, that guy, me, is going to give it away for free. I said, at least the plans, you got to buy your own stuff. So it was pretty funny. I like when people are telling me about my own stuff.
I mean, you prefer it when it's good things about it, but
No, I'll take it either way. I mean, the thing is if somebody's given negative feedback, it's better that they don't know that I am who I am. You know, I would rather them, you know, because when I post in the 3D printing groups, I'm Glenn. Like, you can't post as your brand, but I would rather, because then it's more honest. So, and I mean, you can see through when people are full of crap or just jealous or whatever, you can see through that pretty quick, but otherwise you can get pretty good feedback that way.
I want everybody to go to Joel's video from this morning and thumbs up my comment. I want to be the top rated comment on his video. He did the 3D printer on the Monoprice Cadet, and it's a really small printer. I said, oh, it's the lack of Space Cadet. I thought it was...
Dun, 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 dun.
I should have been a dad. My dad jokes are on point.
I don't know if I can get this. Yeah, I had plans to mount a camera to the extruder and stuff too, but again, more cables, more weight.
Hey, you've got a Bondtech extruder on there. I've got a fake Bondtech extruder on my CR10 that I found in a drawer and decided, why not?
Bondtech is one of my sponsors.
Oh, I mean, I have a genuine one. I would never recommend a clone. To be fair, I took it apart after like 10 hours of use, and there's filings in it. So,
oh, nice. Well,
I cleaned everything out, put it back together, made sure everything was lined, and it's been okay since. But I don't know if it's because it was improperly lined in the first place or it's just worn in now.
That's the gears machining themselves.
They didn't have any aluminum, so they just used cheese.
Chris Lane said, so you're saying I shouldn't put my company name after my name on these streams? Well, that's completely up to you, but the print surface is actually a custom cut sheet of PEI that was supplied to me by Printed Solid, but it's glossy PEI. I'm actually not a fan of glossy PEI because I have a hard time getting stuff to stick to it, as well as I hate the glossy look. So I will be, I'm going to take some 4-aught steel wool to it, make it not glossy PEI. I got to find somebody who can powder coat my whole entire print bed in textured PEI.
Well, you need to buy a flex sheet that's big enough to go on top of that thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about talking to Wham Bam about making me one.
I think that would be hilarious if you had a. It's like it takes you and Xander just to like peel it off the bedwalk, and then you give it a good shake, like you do with like when you're putting down a fresh sheet on your bed. Your actual sleeping bed.
What's even worse is if you have like say you did 200 Makey robots and you go to pull it and they just fly everywhere.
And you get a Makey, and you get a Makey.
Everybody gets a Makey.
It's raining Makeys.
It's raining Makeys.
I'm pretty good, Paul. How are you?
So we have to do the beta testing and the machining too? No, it does its own machining.
Kay and I started watching The Good Doctor, and every single episode has some sort of like sad point in it.
When the emergencies in the surgery room.
What's that? I missed
the good doctor.
Oh, the good
There's,
doctor.
there's
Oh,
always
yeah.
somebody's life is at
I would
risk.
never ever let those people work on me, man.
The first 5 episodes, they just keep showing like his life as a child with autism, and how terribly he was treated by everybody, and you're like, oh, nothing worse can possibly happen, and they're like, nope, but wait, there's more.
Well, but I mean, they kill everybody they work on. I'm like, I don't want them as my doctor.
We watched Grey's Anatomy, and I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
at some point, you can no longer suspend disbelief when you're watching. It's like, oh, 80% of the people that work at this hospital eventually die in some sort of traumatic situation. I don't think that's the way this actually works.
Chris Lane wants to know if it'd be useful to put hairspray down. Like I have hairspray.
Well, he figures that you have an abundance of it because it never gets used.
No, if I need to, I have magic goo. So I mean, I could, but I'm not a big fan of having to put anything down.
Does it look like it's holding now?
Well, knock on wood so far, but I mean, it's less far than this one was. So, and I don't know, like the thermistor for this bed is way down at the other end, so there's no telling what the temperature is. I might need to increase the bed temperature.
The duet boards allow for multiple thermistors for the bed, right?
I think so, yeah.
So you can have fail safes or whatever, I think.
Well, it allows for just about anything, so that wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if you ever heard the story, but when I was picking all the hardware for this, I wanted something that would run Marlin. I didn't want to duet. I didn't know anything about it. It didn't seem like the right piece of hardware, and oh my God, was I wrong. It is a magnificent piece of hardware. And I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor, though they are a sponsor.
I would say the biggest shock to me right now is the fact that, and I'm sure it's going to be in the Mark IV or whatever, but the fact that the Mark III is still just running an 8-bit board. You know what I mean? Like, it's got all these advanced features, but it's still using the most basic LCD screen and a higher end 8-bit board, but it's still an 8-bit board.
But I mean, what more does it really need?
It doesn't really, but like, you look at the fact that they went to a 32-bit board for the Prusa Mini, and it didn't really need it either.
Yeah, that's true.
I still, if I can get this, like, if this works out as well as I think it is, I might still get a Prusa Mini when they're more readily available to get as my like transport, like my bring with me printer. Although there isn't really much to travel with this, is there?
No, it travels pretty well. I actually put it on the bed of the FK1, put a ratchet strap around it, and then put the whole thing in the crate.
I would have actually bought the Mini over this if it wasn't such a long wait, because the size difference for the price difference isn't really because I didn't care that it wasn't big to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think it's what, 7 inches by 7 inches by 7 inches? Yeah,
and I don't know. Like, the Mini hasn't really been out long enough for me to know the track record on it versus I know that the MK series has a really great track record.
I've talked to Chris about it, but he says that the print quality coming out of the two of them is near identical.
Interesting.
But I also know that the Mini is a Bowden fed system versus direct drive, so I think that'll limit the materials you can use a bit. And I also don't know if the Mini is running a all metal hot end, other than the fact that there's the Bowden tube joining the two, or if it's using the E3D light. What was that?
It's probably the same hot end, so that they don't have to stock two of them. Uncle Ron said, "When do I start the dual extruder upgrade?" Not going to happen. There was never an intention to do that on this printer.
But never say never. Something could come up and you'd be like, "Oh, I wish I had dual extrusion."
Nah, somebody else can do it. I'll leave that to somebody else.
Somebody else can figure out all the stuff, design all the parts, and then you can take them back and then add them to it if you.
Well, I mean, he said dual extruder or something, and like printing more than one at a time, which I would just print it on two printers at the same time, as opposed to trying to fight that catastrophic nightmare of a mess. I don't know. Chris Raleigh said Mini's good, but MK3 is still better and worth the money.
I'm looking to see if there's a replacement hot end for the.
Man, Mike said depends on if Glenn gets a sponsor for dual extrusion. That is true. This dual extruder brought to you in part by Coca-Cola. That's good. Yeah, I haven't really gotten anything done today, but the time seems to be like zinging by.
Do you ever get anything done on these?
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like I've gotten small bouts of things done on these streams. I replaced the bed mounts for the printed printer and then got it printing during one of our streams. Because we ran the stream an extra 45 minutes so I could finish.
Slice Engineering FK1 Tool Changer Edition. Well, actually, Slice Engineering did give me, and I think it's in the drawer back here, they gave me a hot end so that I can design an extruder to hold the Magnum hot end, which I may actually set that up before I do, I forgot I'm on the little cam, but before I do the big benchy, being that it is the Magnum hot end.
Are you running just a straight V6 or is it a Volcano on there right now?
Straight V6. The reason that I went that way to begin with was because I didn't really think about it. No. My plan was to use the E3D V6 with a 0.4 nozzle because it's what I was already comfortable and familiar with. So that when I started to print, I would have an idea of, what it should look like and, why it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing or whatever. Glenn, you should not lie to your wife. We can tell she never watches your streams.
That is true. I don't ever watch.
No, she doesn't watch. She has no interest in
Right now, I'm sitting here just wondering what the heck is going on. I have absolutely no idea what anybody's talking about.
It's like a whole different language.
The Sierra has officially passed the progress level of the Mark III at this point. So,
but the other thing too is when I originally started picking hardware for all of this, I didn't know who Slice Engineering was. They were still an infant. So I had got with Dan and we chit chatted and Xander and I were up there actually visiting and got to see Slice Engineering, and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute!" And he digs around and he starts giving me bags of parts. So now I can design an extruder assembly, but that means I got to get another Bondtech because the whole extruder assembly comes off, and then another one can go on. And the idea behind that was so that you could put a laser head or whatever you want on there, but I don't want to have to disassemble one to put the other one in. And in fairness, being that E3D was a sponsor or is a sponsor, I can't just like mid-switch hot ends and just be like, this is the way to go now. But
Ron said Sony channel, and I am not qualified.
you can be Stitch Queen 2D.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. I like to sew, but I only do little basic things.
the great thing about you two is you don't have to be qualified.
I suppose that's
Trust
true.
me, there's a lot of people who have 3D printing channels who are definitely not qualified.
Yeah. And then Tony Ryan
Myself is one of them.
says that they just enjoy razzing you too.
Yeah, Tony Ryan's a bully. But he lives too far away to do anything about it, so.
I've turned off the bet on both printers, so I don't have to wait.
Another sponsor square. Yeah, when I make the new bingo, it's just going to be all sponsor squares. Yeah, shameless plugs. I think that's what I had on the list of this. So I never heard from anybody. Like when I said, if you guys are interested, I can recreate the bingo boards, but nobody ever said one way or the other. And then also nobody's ever like reached out to me to be a guest on here. So I guess you guys don't like us enough to want to be on here with us.
That's like, do you remember when I organized the 3D printed benching under an hour contest? Plugged that in, and had 0 entries.
And 0 entries, yeah. Like one person could have entered, it could have sucked, and they would have won.
Yep. You could have laid down the first layer of a bench. He called it a day. I'd be like, well, honorable mention / first place.
Yeah, Chris Lane's right. He said, like we discussed, having that auto train demodulator rotated 32.56 degrees aft of the integrated motionator, but only when the infinitum level reaches maximum joules.
I understood none of that sentence.
That whole sentence is just garbage.
It's gibberish.
That's all made up. That doesn't mean anything to me either. That was good though. That was some good work in there.
I'll come out and said
That's how I feel all the time when I'm talking.
You know, when like years and years ago, I would hang out with my friends. Like I've always been like an automotive nut, but a lot of my friends were car guys. And one of my friends who was a car guy was also really into computers. And the three of us are sitting having lunch at a Pizza Hut. And that's another one of my superpowers, by the way. I can always remember where I ate. But the three of us are sitting there, and Steve and I are sitting across from each other, and Tim is next to him. And Steve and I are back and forth with computer stuff. And Tim goes, man, I just don't have any idea what you guys are talking about. And like, it just wouldn't register to me. Like, how could you not understand what we're talking about? And it was quite a few years later. I mean, Gricela and I were together, and I caught, it was either a YouTube video or a TV show, and they were talking about time and space being shaped like a donut. And that was the only part of the whole conversation that I understood. All the rest of it, like, they were talking gibberish to me, and I'm like, oh, no. I get it.
Most of the time he's talking to me, and I'm just kind of like, no,
Yeah,
okay.
I go to her with my problems. I'm always like,
I
I'm
listen.
having a hard time. But by talking it out, then I hear the solution. But she's always just like nodding and
I'll smile and nod and have no idea what he's talking about.
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Donuts. That's how I felt, Glenn. I'm like, donut. I understand donut. Nobody here understood any of it. Chris wrote it, and he didn't understand any of it. Can I still get a Pindit instead of a Pindit 2? Do I have a spare one from my MK 2.5 upgrade? I don't know. I wonder if they have those for spare parts. Shane was in here earlier. He would know if they possibly still have those. I mean, I watched a lot of Star Trek. Who did great techno battle.
See, now I like Star Trek.
Chris Riley said pretty solid has them.
That is no different.
What's that?
The print quality on my Calicat is no different than the previous one before the readjustment of the extruder gears.
And you're saying it has to do with layer height? Or
No,
layer
it's like the
width?
extrusion thickness. So it's like it's supposed to extrude a 0.4 millimeter thickness, but it seems to vary. Like in a straight lines, it seems to vary even.
Interesting. What's the difference between 8-bit and 32-bit boards?
24 bits.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the amount of processes that the board can run. It's a smarter brain.
Yeah, I don't see any discernible difference between the.
Then it says he hates that he can't find all the parts for his Prusa in one place. You can. PrusaPrinters.org, man. They will send you all the parts in a box, properly labeled.
And with a manual on how to put them together.
Yeah, with a great instructions manual on how to put it together.
It's the one weird hack that people that do hardware cloning don't want you to know about. I dropped one, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't know which one I dropped. And then I realized, as I said, it doesn't matter. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab the one off the CR10.
The difference between a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo.
I like James's chair.
My chair?
Yeah, it's nice.
Except for the parts that the cats have destroyed. I love it.
Oh.
See, it's leather, and Bo really likes to dig his claws into leather.
Yeah, we have that problem too.
Leather is a catastrophe.
We have a cat that's a catastrophe.
That should have been her name.
Catastrophe?
Mm-hmm.
Spelled with a K.
Right.
Yeah, the Calicats from both printers are basically the same. I don't really know how to show it on camera. I guess like that.
Yeah, it's really little. Here, let's do this. I'm gonna make you full screen.
Oh, I don't think it matters. I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah, now you're full screen.
Okay, well, let's see if I can.
Now I can pick my nose and nobody will know I'm doing
Oh, what's your superpower?
Yeah, it's still kind of too small to tell.
The light has to hit it too for you to see the inconsistencies. Top down light seems to be the worst. I don't know. I'm not going to stress over it. Yes, I am.
Is it possible that you're just being too picky?
I mean, I guess. I am known.
Maybe I'm not picky enough.
That's why you need to go off camera to pick your nose. Got it.
That's right. I don't want people to think ill things of me. What are the differences between the Titan and BMG extruders? Is one better than the other? Well, I've never used a Titan extruder, but I know that the big allure to BMG is the dual gears, the dual hobs. I truly believe that I could hold that filament and pick the whole printer up. That thing, it's amazing. This typically pulls the filament. Right now I have it up over the top, but like when I'm at maker fairs and stuff, the filament is sitting on the table next to it, and it pulls that filament all the way up over the top of the printer with no problem. I think Titan extruders at one point were like king of the hill, but now everybody wants to be the BMG. And of course now there's the Hermes. Is that right?
The one that nobody can find in stock anywhere?
Right. Well, they had to change the name because of copyright issues.
I have one of the. Sorry, is it the Titan? The one that was King of the Hill?
Yeah, the Titan was a gear reduction.
Yeah, it was 3-to-1 or something like that. I've got one of those on the X5S, and the only reason I went with it is because you mount the V6 hot end directly into the extruder, and then when you're designing your mount, and I'm sure there's a Bondtech one that's similar, maybe that's the way it is on yours. When you're designing the mount, all you have to do is basically design something that mounts a NEMA 17 motor to it, and then your extruder mount's done.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I have. You know, I've got the back plate, and then I've got a piece sticking out like this that's got some gussets on it, but the motor sits on this side and the BMG sits on this side, and then the V6 hangs out of the bottom of it. So the BMG is actually what supports the V6 and everything. So
yeah, it's basically and so that was the advantage for me as well, is that makes it super easy.
Yeah, really, really super easy. Uncle Ron
Charlie says his skin's itchy with all these 3D printer questions. I wonder if that's because he wants to join us or because he's glad he's not having to answer these questions. It's like given the
Chris Riley.
All these 3D printer questions, my skin feels itchy. Uncle Ron wants to know, is that like a BFG but different? Well, no, but you could print a BFG with it. I'd rather have the BMG extruder gears in the Hemera. The teeth are too small on the thing. It strips instead of yanking the printer around like the BMG will. I'm not fortunate enough to have played with one yet, but
we're looking for sponsors.
I like my BMG. So, and then I'm running it off of a 25-ounce pancake stepper motor and have not had any issues. Just want to see how hot it was.
How hot is it?
Not very. I mean, I wouldn't want to like hold it in my teeth or anything, but is an 8-bit board easy to program? I can't really answer that question because it depends on what you're trying to program it with. If you're just trying to flash a firmware, they're all pretty much the same.
I guess a lot of the 32-bit boards now store their firmware on a micro SD card, right? So it's just basically drop the file in. Your boat's off. You lost your boat.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, it did get a little further, apparently.
Each one gets a little further than the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a deck.
Oh, look at that.
It was getting the
Yeah.
deck.
So this
The
was
bottom
first
definitely
one.
looks better, but I think it still needs a little more squish. See how it's all smooth right here, and then it goes to
Yeah,
like
I see.
chattery.
Mhm.
It should be, the whole thing should just be flat, glossy, like a mirror.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any gapping in there. It should squish it. I have to say though, the print, my super glosses, going to the double glasses. The print looks really good, and I mean, there's still a lot. I'm gonna have to play
I
with
don't think,
focus.
yeah.
Give me a second. We'll get some focus. Takes 35 windows to do anything. Because we don't have enough time to run another one, so I'm not going to bother.
Focus.
There you go.
Is that good? You see that? I mean, it's got some issues in this back corner here, but
That's just cooling, I think.
I mean, overall, it looks pretty good.
And that's 1,001%. Amazing.
Yeah, I just have really big hands.
It's true.
So, but you can see the bottom has got still could use a little bit more squish.
Not much, though.
No, it's like it's real good here, but not so much here.
Time for gloop, says Gricela.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I could put some gloop down, but I've got Magigoo. I don't want to have to use it. I shouldn't have to use it. I don't use it on any of my printers anymore. I used to use the Magigoo on the AM8, but I changed to a different PEI sheet. I went to not a textured, but a matte PEI sheet, and now I don't have any problems with sticking. But this thing is just, and if I touch it continuously, but every time I touch it, all of a sudden you can see the fingerprints and stuff on it. So, but yeah, I don't know if I got any gloop around here. I might be out of gloop. The 55-gallon barrel of gloop. No hairspray 24/7. I used to. Back in the 80s, I used a lot of hairspray.
Well, everybody used a lot of hairspray in the 80s.
Maybe that's why I don't have any hair anymore. I print on a clean glass bed, no problems. And I have as well. I had a piece of glass on the AM8 for a while, and I didn't have to put anything down on that either. But doesn't that dry out on you? Probably will once I open it. But I have a couple big projects coming up, so. No, I haven't ordered it. I've been busy. What? They're probably not cold yet. Nothing like having your kid interrupt you right in the middle of a stream.
We're not doing anything important.
That's it looks painful.
Uncle Ron, can I share this photo? Yellow gloop.
Glenn, when you print PETG onto the textured sheet, do you put anything onto the textured sheet, or do you just print straight onto it?
Straight onto it. Because
I've heard people have that.
It's a flex sheet, so it'll pop off of there.
Okay.
This is the photo that Uncle Ron sent me.
I like his shirt, though.
Trying to get rid of the glare. Yeah.
Who's representing my brand more than I am today?
Yeah, Gricela was so excited to be on stream. I got this morning. She's already dressed like that.
Did I tell you the story about me buying the decibel meter? I don't know, the audio level checker.
No.
So a friend of mine was saying, because I was talking about doing comparisons of audio from printers like before and after, getting silent steppers and stuff like that. And a friend of mine's like, well, there's one on Amazon for like $20. So I go on Amazon and I order it, and then I'm reading the reviews, and there's 2 or 3 reviews on it that 1-star rating, and they're saying it's a fake product. There's no battery compartment on the back of it. There's no way to put batteries in it to be able to use it. So it's obviously, they're paying for people to do reviews of the products and stuff, and you can't actually use the item. There's no way to use it. This is the problem. Watch this. Okay. There is a shock casing on it to get the compartment, and people didn't figure that out.
And yet they have a need to measure sound levels.
Yep.
That's funny. So how much have you used that?
I used it for the stream today.
And then
Show you guys.
have you compared it to the apps you can get for your phone?
I have not. That is one of the comparison points I'm going to do, though, because
I'd be really interested to see how close they are, because like I've downloaded apps that measure like light levels and stuff like that, but you never really know how accurate it is.
It's like, oh, it looks like it's doing something.
Yeah. Well, it gives me a number. It must be good. Large one topping for $10. Nothing like sitting during a live stream and ordering dinner.
Pizza.
What's for dinner tonight?
Pizza.
Yeah, that national chain that I'm not really a big fan of, and I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to give them any free advertising, even though I just said I'm not a fan of them.
Look, Ron says we should interrupt our kids during something they do.
I like to interrupt
beforehand.
them while playing video games.
Just turn off the Wi-Fi.
We've discussed it.
Oh yeah. Well, and then I came to the realization the other day that I can actually, like, because I always threaten the kids, I can shut your Wi-Fi off, and like the system that I have, I can shut off individual devices. It's not even like the whole thing, so it doesn't affect me at all.
It's like, oh, just ban this MAC address from being able to connect, and you're done.
Yeah. Well, then I thought, wow, I can block the TVs. That's the upside to not having like cable TV. All of our TV comes through the internet. I can turn off the TVs.
Listen to your father, or else.
Have them clean their room.
If you order earlier, I can ship it from here.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I don't think it'd be any good when a guy.
No, that's true.
It's a long trip.
It's not delivery. It's disgusting.
I would actually rather eat a DiGiorno's pizza than what I'm about to order.
But I thought they had better ingredients and better pizza.
Yeah. Papa lies.
I think they figured out who it is now.
Hanging out with the John.
That's pretty much what happens when I eat it.
Yeah.
I have to go hang out with the John. John Mama said, don't threaten to take away take the games away from your kids. Just sign on and act like them online and get them banned. I read something one time that this girl said that she had what was that? If Sandra was up here, he'd know. Club Penguin. She said her little sister was addicted to playing Club Penguin, so she created an account and did nothing but followed her around and annoyed her in there, and could hear her screaming from the other room in aggravation. And I'm like, that's just genius.
That's something our kids would do to each other.
I'd love to tell the story about how when Xander and I used to play Minecraft together on the Xbox, and he would break my stuff. He was pretty young, but he would always like break my houses and stuff that I would build. It would make me so mad. So he had built this house, and he was so proud. And he always would go and stand on his bed when he logged out. So then the next time when he came in, he was always standing on his bed. So I went in and put TNT all under the floor of his house and lined the whole floor with pressure plates. So when he spawned back in and jumped off the bed, kablooey! Oh, good times. He was mad.
I play with a group of friends and we grief each other constantly. So the time the guy logged off, as soon as he logged off, I went and sealed all the holes in his house and then filled every square with water. So not like just put water on the top or whatever. I made sure that like you had to pick up the entire house to get through it. He logs in. He's like, oh, what? I'm drunk. What? Why did you do that? I'm drunk.
Yeah, Xander likes to go into people's houses and fill it with bamboo or chickens.
I'll usually grab one vine and drop it somewhere randomly on the side of their house, and then just let it grow and progress. Oh, Paul Cumber had to leave.
Bye, Paul. Thanks for being here, brother.
Au revoir, bon fête semaine.
Yeah, Clint says just like here, I can log in my Switch and turn off individual ports. Yeah, I didn't think about doing it through the Switch, but yeah.
That works too.
I was thinking about just setting up a secondary DNS server that like would only give him access to Google, so he could search stuff, but then he couldn't go. He couldn't go to any of the results.
No, set it up so that no matter what he does, it redirects him to why am I not nicer to my parents?
Nice.
To fartgenerator.com.
Brian Vines is here.
Brian Vines. Brian with a what? Vines with an I.
Brian Vines will eventually be replaced by Brian TikToks.
I'm never going to get dinner ordered. Ooh, that's a deal. Free extra cheese on large menu price pizzas. Their menu prices are ridiculous. And there's my mom.
Your mom again.
She's going to have to wait. She's got another, 20 minutes?
I got my official Prusa brand needle nose pliers that came with my printer. They've got the spring loaded on the metal there.
Yeah. I might have just put mine away. I had mine out. My Prusa brand needle nose pliers.
I was looking forward to Prusa brand flush cutters, and they don't include them.
No.
It was a horrible experience. Chat's quiet today.
Oh, those are. Oh, yeah. It's all right. That's not what I want.
Brian Vine says he doesn't think we'd have him on our stream. Did we boycott Brian?
No. We just have to like blur his face or whatever. We don't want people to unsubscribe.
Oh, shots fired.
He's got that face like he's never used a smart. No, I hate this app. This app is horrific. Plus, I don't really know what I want to eat, and I can't concentrate on it. I can't do more than one thing at a time, you know, ADD and all.
Chris Lane says he wants to join as a guest as soon as his printer is ready.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Anybody that wants to be on, I don't guarantee a spot. I mean, if I don't like you, I'm going to tell you no. No.
It's true. He's been telling me no for years, but I still show up.
I didn't have any other options.
He's trying to win the Canadian demographic.
Yeah. Yeah, now that I'm a fan of Letterkenny, I need the Canadians. No, but seriously, if any of you guys want to be a guest on here, like right now, one of these days I'm going to set up a form, but right now you just got to email me, Glenn, with 2 N's at funking3d.com. I don't know if it still is. Somebody can test it if they want. I think I had it set up where if they email Glenn with 1 N at funking3d.com, that it bounces back and like gives you a spelling correction. Like I don't get anything. It just kind of kicks back and says like, you know, like you need to check yourself. All right, we gotta make sure I'm not ordering the wrong thing. And then
Glenn takes his pizza very seriously.
I just don't want to get, you know, the wrong thing.
It's like the original Ninja Turtles movies from the 90s. No anchovies. If I see 1 anchovy on this thing, you're in big trouble, dude. Glenn with 2 N's at funking.com. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's the one that works. Yeah,
He wrote it perfectly.
yeah. You make sure that you email that one right there.
Oh, I need 2 naps.
Well, like pretty much every domain that I've ever had a Glenn at email, I've always forwarded the single N Glenn to, and I thought, you know what?
Get it right.
I'm no longer gonna, you know, be an enabler.
I refuse to bow to you.
You're not emailing me like I'm some kind of a serial killer.
Oh my.
All right, light sauce, extra cheese.
To cereal.
Well, Chris, you just have to try them both and see which one goes through, which actually none of them will, but. Did you want anything special? Just saw. Want some saw, man?
Yeah.
That's all I did too. Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. We have saved so much money because of this whole quarantine thing and not going out to eat. Unbelievable.
I mean, you can email me, but I don't get to make the decision. It's Glenn's channel.
What's that?
What's that? I'm just going to email James. Oh, that's confusing.
Yeah, just email James. Then you know that James received the email, and also it's not going to happen. It's a very quick process.
No, I have intentions on setting up a web form that you can go in and fill out, and then it'll send it to me. You know, that way I can ask you things like, "Why do you want to be on the show? What are you going to talk about?
Are you more handsome than the current hosts?
Yeah, who do you like better, Glenn or James?" Because all of the answers to these
How
questions.
come the James option's grayed out? I don't understand.
I can't click the James button for some reason. Who do you like better, Glenn or Glenn?
It's like those voting booths that they said were rigged, where you click the thing, then you click submit, and like the last thing you see is it flashes changing your answer before it moves on to the next page.
Yeah.
It's okay. It was just a software. Oh, Sean says he likes me better. Sorry, Glenn.
note of that. No Sean.
The correct answer is Xander.
The James button moves every time you put your mouse over it. You go to highlight it, and they just switch.
That's hilarious.
I've got some imported Prusa glue stick. Is it fancier or less fancy than the purple stuff?
I don't know because I couldn't read it.
It says Corez.
I'm not even sure what I did with mine. I never used it, but
You mean it isn't lip balm?
all right, check out.
Thank you, 3D Printing Llama.
Zach.
Zach.
Oh yeah, this is my weekly time to tell you to unsubscribe from Xander. Oh, he's not even here to. He's not even in the background to yell at
No,
me.
I don't know where he is.
No, he went downstairs. He was sitting on the couch when I went down earlier. Just sitting there. Didn't have the TV. I don't know if he was holding his phone. He was just sitting there.
This time I'm going to put the tip in before I put the credit card information in,
There
so it
you
doesn't
go.
take off and not tip the driver. I don't like spitting my pizza. Credit card number 597. Oh. This is riveting stream
Yes.
right here. Let's all tune in and watch Glenn order pizza.
Well, it used to be that you would eat pizza while on stream. So,
Sometimes.
this is a step in the right direction, I think.
Okay, note. Tip. Pay. Well, with loyalty, it was only $17. So.
That's not too bad.
All right, that's that.
Oh, Carl from Naked Designs is here.
Carl! You missed it, man. We were printing. I printed 2 partial Menzies. Oh, I wonder if we could glue these together. Oh, almost. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to slap a little gloop in between these.
Yeah, it's not quite.
The fact that it almost failed in the same spot. So, but we'll get there. Like I said, there's still a lot of configuring, tuning, learning.
Yeah, it's all user error. Got it.
What's that?
It's all user error. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Looks like it might be a little too close to the bed.
Sean, that's because the kids really like the place.
What's that?
He's amazed that you have loyalty points at a place that you hate.
Yeah, because the kids love it so much, and I give my children pretty much everything they want. They're spoiled little monsters.
They really are.
Yeah. I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but it's really true. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times this week I said to Gricela that I really had no business ever attempting to build my own 3D printer from scratch.
And I don't believe that for a minute.
Which pizza place? I'm not saying their name because I'm not giving them any free advertising.
And I would never say that it was Papa John's.
I wouldn't say that either. Papa makes me go to the Johns. It's something about their sauce because if I eat the papadillas, their sandwich, which doesn't have sauce on it, then I'm okay. I thought you were building your own 3D printer from aluminum extrusions, not from scratch. I made the extrusions. I built the machine that extruded the aluminum. I'm thinking the next time that we can have an Orlando Maker Fair, which I don't know if will be this year or not. I doubt it, but I'm going to talk to Open Build, sponsor, and see if I can get a booth next to theirs, or even better, if I can just put this thing in their booth so that they can watch it when I want to take off.
Yeah.
You show up, deliver the printer, be like, okay, pick it up in 2 days. Bye.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see some stuff, but because I had talked to Mark last year and he had made the comment, I'd love to take that to some shows, and I'm like, just let me know, man. It's in a crate. We can send it off, but I would love to work with them as well as to be able to offer kits, like where somebody can order the aluminum already pre-cut, because they do cut aluminum for all of their own CNC machines and stuff. So that thing can be your booth. It pretty much is when I set up. I walk in there like a diva, and I'm like, no, this isn't enough space, and I start dragging people's tables further.
Yeah.
I did last year.
He
They didn't
totally
give me
does.
enough room last year. I needed
Whose space did you take? Was that
a little bit of Happy Runs and
Yeah.
a little bit of Shalms. I needed at least 14 feet, and they gave me 10. I'm like, yeah,
so you just kind of went,
this isn't gonna work, and I'm like, ah. And then I found Happy Run later, and I'm like, listen, if it's a big deal, we can move some stuff around. But because this thing takes up a whole entire 6-foot folding table on its own, and then I have to have space for like the tchotchkes to show off, plus like the roll of filament, and I go to the shows with the big was it 2 pound? The big one from IC3D, not the big 10. Was
It's
it
a
2
design flaw in your printer. Because if you had made it so that the bed moves instead of the thing, and then had the bed drop down, you could put stuff underneath it. I don't know which clown told you not to make the bed move.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody had this great idea. Don't make the bed move. No, I still want to make, and I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but you guys won't steal this idea. Of course, if somebody steals it, then they'll make it, and then
I just need to open up Notepad.
I can just rip it. No, you and I have actually talked about this. I want to build a spool holder that sits on top of this thing and uses a rotary encoder. So as the man, I'm going loopy. The extruder pulls the filament. The rotary encoder then runs a motor to turn the spool, so that when you use the big 10-kilo rolls, you're not putting all of that tug on your extruder.
Well, just get Mosaic to sponsor, adding a Mosaic pallet to it, and then the pallet can do all the extra.
I have one.
Oh, there you go.
It was sponsored by Mitch 3D. He sold it to me very, very affordably. But it's been sitting in a box. I picked it up from him at Orlando Maker Fair last November, and it's been sitting in the tote ever since. Because until the printer prints with one piece of filament, there's no way I'm attempting 5 pieces of filament.
We got the thunder rocking over here. I can hear it in the basement.
Yeah. Maybe our storm blew up there.
I think it's past, actually.
Yeah, we didn't really get anything. I'm going to turn that light off. It's flickering really bad.
Kay loves thunderstorms and the lightning and stuff like that. And there's been like 4 times in the past 2 weeks that it was supposed to really storm here. So we go upstairs, we open the windows, like the drapes, not the windows up, and lie in bed and wait for the light show to start. And like we get 1 or 2 flashes of lightning. That's it. It completely bypasses us. She's been so disappointed.
Yeah, here when the lightning comes, you put down the lead shutters.
Yeah.
Just mount a second extruder right at the spool so it feeds just the roll. Which you could do that, Tom, with the Duet, with the DuX board, and run it off of another channel. Well, I suppose you could do it just on the Duet and run it as the second extruder, but
No, just do like you do with the Z-axis on a regular thing, where you just split it into two motor connectors.
Well, see, on the Duet, they're wired in series so that it doesn't hurt the current, I think is the way that it goes. But I kind of want it to be its own unit, power supply and all. So you set it down on the table, plug it in, and as the extruder pulls it, it runs a wheel and it goes, hey, it's taking this filament, and then it starts to. But somehow you'd have to compensate for, like when the roll is new and it's this big, it would have to spin at a different speed than as it gets towards the middle of the roll. I didn't say I had it all worked out.
That's fine. You got time. Chris Lane says I should move to Florida. I can't because then Glenn and I would spend all the time together, and that's not fair to Gricela. So
I can spend time with Kay. I'm okay with that.
oh, there you go. Yeah, there we go.
We'll just buy one house together. We'll design it where there's
With
like
a corridor in the middle.
with a big YouTube studio,
Yeah.
and then 2 houses off of the studio.
There you go.
And
It would be
16
like
circuits to run all of our combined 3D printers.
It would be like a
And then
duplex, but
Then we could just send the kids over there.
yeah, go see Uncle Jason Arcade.
I'm running the bed 10 degrees hotter with the textured sheet to see if the PLA will stick to it. As
So-
per your advice,
What are you running it at then?
70 degrees.
70. Tony Ryan said thirsty and need to order parts from Printed Solid. Going inside, done in the garage.
Mitch 3D says that's not how wife swap works.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be yawning on stream either. You people are boring me. We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'm going to play the intro as an outro today because I haven't done an outro yet.
Just put it on loop for 2 minutes right now. So over and over and over again.
You got anything that you want to plug or?
Not really. I haven't done anything important in a long time.
Yeah, me either. I shot the last MakerBox video and I still haven't edited it.
I have a lot of projects I'm working on, but I just don't have the space right now to. I'm out of space. I'm going to get rid of a few of my 3D printers, but I don't have to maintain their, like I don't have to support them once they're gone.
Yeah, no, that's the only way I'll give them away.
Yep.
Is
I'll probably try and get a little bit of money out of them, but I'm going to sell them as is for parts or whatever. They're all in varying degrees of working, but I've got I bought that FL Sun Delta printer. I'm never going to go back to it. I mean, like it needs a bunch of work, and it doesn't give me any advantage over a lot of the stuff that I have now. So get rid of that. Figure out. I'm giving away 2 printers as well, but we'll see.
Uncle Ron wants to know what you're doing with your old studio space.
Oh, the cats can have it. Cats don't get to come with us.
I don't know how much I can say, but I'm losing my tenant in my apartment. The cat's out of the bag.
I think everybody knows now.
And not
Yeah.
like any of these people are going to tell anybody, but
Right.
but regardless, I'm losing my tenant. He's moving back up north, and so then comes the question of what do I do with the apartment? I've kicked around making it my studio. It's roughly 18 by 20. It's a nice area. It has air conditioning. Obviously, people live in there. It's got its own bathroom, water heater, little kitchen. I like the monthly income.
Yes.
The monthly income
I like the monthly
is very
income.
important. But the problem is the apartment does not have an exterior door. I mean, I guess I could kind of fix that.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. But,
Yeah.
it just opens into my garage. So if I rent it to somebody, it's got to be somebody that I trust wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm. And it's really big enough for just one person.
Yeah,
So it's not like a couple's or a family or.
It could be a couple if they really like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely small, but they could also give me 2 years still. You're gonna come all the way down to Florida,
Kick Xander out in terms of his YouTube channel, video game film thing. Tell him to get a job, and then he can rent it from you. Win-win.
well, the thing is, I made the comment the other day that I'm surprised he hasn't
Said
I can
something.
move in there, but the thing is he can't.
No
We
way.
can't have him online playing video games and stuff without parental supervision.
Oh no, that was a joke. I didn't mean it at all.
No, I know, but
Yeah, because I thought about putting the classroom out there.
right, yeah.
But
But it's only one kid. The other one's
Yeah.
going to go back to school somehow.
you'd think eventually, maybe.
But I don't know. If I put the studio out there, then all my 3D printers end up out there, and then I don't have them in here. Or I say, all right, I'll put these ones out there and keep these ones in here, but then they're never the right ones. So then I have to have 2 of all of them.
That's not a good idea.
Oh, well, what you do is you move the entire family over to the apartment, and then the 3D printing just takes over the rest of the house.
Right, yeah.
It almost has.
I mean, it's
already.
happening anyways.
So I mean, I'm blessed with the amount of space that I have, but
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe it needs to be configured differently. So I don't want to move my office out there.
I would say that it'd clear up this area, but we'd end up putting more junk
We
in
just
here,
put more
so.
junk in there. We're
I've used up pretty much every millimeter of like wall space and stuff that I have down here. The basement's like 600 square feet, and at least a quarter of that, if not more, is the laundry room. And then I've got shelves and stuff lining absolutely everywhere, and I still don't have enough space to get it organized. So
yeah, well, that's kind of how I feel too. But I just decided I need to get rid of everything. So, well, that's it. It's 6:03.
Yep,
You only have 7 minutes before you have to be upstairs. So.
that's right.
So if you got nothing to say, I will do the quick outro as of. We want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in today. I hope that this was a fun experience getting to see the FK1 fail twice. And was it really just twice? Or was there a third failure in there?
No, I think it was just the 2 times.
So 2 failures. But regardless, at least it printed. We are getting closer. There's a lot of changes to be made, and I'm going to continue working on it in every bit of my free time because
you have so much.
I don't have anything else to do in life but to work on this printer. I mean, I've only been working on it for 2 years now. But we do thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. We ask that you return every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd also like for you to invite a friend. If you follow me on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, start following me on Twitter. But if you follow me on Twitter, I'd love for you to hit that retweet button on our stream announcements as well, because we do want to grow. We were right in that 40 to 50 range again today, which is nothing to shake a stick at, but it's definitely not where we want to be. We want to be bigger and bigger and bigger because it feeds my ego.
Yeah.
And
just kind of
It's funny because it's true.
my comments to myself.
it's true. We do thank you guys for tuning in. I'd love for you to subscribe if you're not already. James's information is down in the description as well. You can follow and or subscribe to him. Thumbs ups are always appreciated as well. We love each and every one of you guys. I'll get set up to throw the little intro out there. But I guess now I say, and until next time, as always,
Print on.